Welcome, everyone. And before we get into the very first episode of This Is My Journey, I want to be completely honest. So, not too long ago, I sat in a doctor's office and heard the words, if you keep going the way you are, you might not make 40. And to be honest, that moment hit me like a brick. It was honestly terrifying. And yeah, sadly, I know I'm not alone in this. So, according to the House of Commons Library from February 2025 this year, around 28% of adults in England live with obesity, and another 36% are overweight. And in Scotland, it's 32%. In Wales, about 1 in 4 adults, and in Northern Ireland, nearly 28%. And it starts young. Almost 1 in 10 children in reception and over 1 in 5 in year 6 are already living with obesity. On that world stage, though, the UK now ranks 10th highest globally, which is crazy. Higher rates than countries like France or Japan, though still behind the US, where around 43% of adults live with obesity. And for us, these aren't just numbers. They're our lives, they're other people's lives, they're families, there are people who have been told the same thing I was told, and that's why I wanted to start this podcast, to change the conversation. So yeah, let's get into it. Welcome to This Is My Journey, the podcast where real people share real stories of transformation, resilience, and growth. I'm Marc, and after navigating my own path through major lifestyle change, I created this space to open up honest conversations around identity, mindset, and what it really takes to evolve. So along the way, we'll also hear from professionals, from pharmacists to psychologists and fitness experts who help us make sense of the science and support behind these journeys. So whether you're just starting out, deep in the process, or you're finding your footing after big change, you are not alone. This is your place. This is my journey. Let's walk it together. So welcome back. And yeah, let's start at the beginning. So for years, I carried more than just extra weight. I carried shame, judgment, and a lack of self-belief, honestly. I tried every diet you can think of. I'd lose some weight, then gain it all back, sometimes even more. And, it was pretty much a cycle that I felt was really never ending. And yeah, I was exhausted. And when my doctor sat me down and told me I might not see 40, if I didn't make a serious change, that was my wake up call. So since then, I have been on a journey. Some of you know it, some of you might not. And, that journey has seen me lose over 9 stone, which is 126 pounds or 57 kilograms so far. But more importantly, it has helped me build confidence, reconnect with fitness, and start to reclaim who I really am. And that is the truth about transformation. It's not just about changing your body, it's about changing your life. For me, my story is personal, but it's also part of a much bigger picture. We live in a country in the UK where obesity is officially recognised as a chronic health condition. It's not just about eating too much or not exercising enough. It's shaped by things like genetics, the environment, mental health, and even social pressures. And yet, despite the numbers I shared earlier, so many people are still judged for struggling with it. The stigma is real. The stigma can stop people from reaching out, from getting help, from even talking about what they're going through. And that's hard, and it's hard to bear. That silence, it can be dangerous. So I reached out to one of the organizations working in this space, Novo Nordisk, and they shared something really powerful with me. A spokesperson for them has said, obesity is a complex disease that requires long-term management and is influenced by a number of different factors, including physiological, psychological, environmental, socio-economic, and genetic factors. Novo Nordisk is dedicated to preventing chronic diseases. By playing a role to help address these conditions and provide support to those who need it, we can improve the lives of people in the UK, as well as helping to alleviate pressure on the healthcare system. We are also committed to addressing the stigma and judgment associated with weight, which often stops people from getting help. We take our responsibility to meet the needs of people living with chronic conditions very seriously. And really, that's it right there. It's about support, understanding, and yeah, just compassion. Not shame, not judgment. That's why I've created This Is My Journey. This is going to be a space for real stories, real struggles, and just real growth. Over the next few weeks, I'll be joined by some incredible guests. So, from healthcare professionals who can share trusted guidance to fitness experts who will show us how to move in ways that feel good, and even familiar faces who know what it's like to walk this road. We're going to talk about the things that don't always get said out loud. The fear of failing again, the guilt we carry, the impact on our families, and the joy that comes when you finally start to feel yourself again. This podcast isn't about quick fixes. It's about changing the conversation, removing that stigma, and showing that no matter who you are, what you look like, or where you've come from, you're not alone on this journey. So, thank you so much for joining me for this first episode. It wasn't very long, but this was just the start, me sharing my story and setting the stage for everything to come. Over the next few weeks, you'll have plenty to dive into right away. A brand new conversation will land every Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. UK time, wherever you get your podcasts. Perfect for your drive to work, your morning walk, or even just a quiet moment to yourself. And I have to thank you for listening. I'm so excited for you to hear from the guests we've got lined up. Some are experts, some are everyday people, and some are names you'll definitely recognize. All of them have something powerful to share. So thank you again. This is my journey, but it's also yours. And together, we're going to change the way we talk about health, identity, and transformation. Thank you for listening. Now let's do this.